Having your own branded email address instantly makes your business look more professional. So instead of using something like ferdykorpershoek@gmail.com, how much better would it be if you could send an email from info@ferdykorpershoek.com? But what is really amazing is what you can do when you start combining it with AI. Imagine AI answering your emails in your writing style, or giving you a summary of the most important highlights of all the emails you got in the last 7 days, or returning long emails received into short, easy-to-read highlights. In this tutorial, I will show you how to set up your own professional business email account and how to connect these powerful AI features to it. So let's get started. So in order to create your own email business account, let's go to ferdy.com/BE. That stands for business email. I hit enter. You can also click on the link in the description or in the first comment. And then we see this page, business email that builds your brand. It looks really nice if you ask me. So in order to get started, we can click here. Before I start talking about what you get, look at this. There's a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you somehow don't like the service, you can get your money back, no questions asked. I click on start now, and then we see 3 plans, but I can tell you that those 2 plans are the same, but this one, the recommended one, is if you go for multiple accounts. So info@ferdy.com, info@ferdykorpershoek.com, and 3 other domains. If you do that, then you pay $1.59 per month per account. If you go for only one account, in my case, info@ferdy.com, for instance, then I would go with this plan, but they're both the same. And if you go for this one, you get 5 mailboxes for the price of 4. So that's the only difference over here. Everything else is the same. So let's take a look at all those features. I don't want to focus on this one because here is where the AI features are, which are amazing. Let me talk about the benefits. You get a free domain if you go for one of these plans, and you get an AI mailbox assistant called Kodee. So what it can do a few things. It can summarize emails for you. It can answer emails for you based on how you would normally answer emails. So it will take a look at how you answer emails and then copy the same style and then answer emails for you. You can get summaries from all the emails of last week and see which things are important. So you can save a lot of time with this. And then if we take a look at those settings over here, you get 50 gigabyte of storage. Well, I have an email address already for more than 10 years and I used 10 gigabytes. So 50 gigabytes is more than enough. 50 forwarding rules. So if an email comes in, you can automatically decide to send it somewhere else. You can get 30 email aliases. What does it mean? You can have info@ferdy.com, also ferdy@ferdy.com, no reply@ferdy.com, and then you can have 30 of those. You can send up to 3,000 emails per day per mailbox. And this is not even not necessary. Get extra storage anytime if you want to, but 50 gigabytes is more than enough. So instead of telling you what it all means, I'm just gonna show you what it means, what it can do. So I will go for this plan. One more important thing over here, the length of the subscription. The longer you go, the more discount you get. So if you go for 48 months, you pay $1.59 per month. For 4 years, if you go for 24 months, you pay $1.99. If you go for 12 months, $2.39. So it's up to you. I go for 48 months and then I click on choose plan. If you would go for 5 mailboxes like info@ferdy.com, no reply, admin, reports, and ferdy@ferdy.com, then you get 1 for free. So you pay $1.59 per email box per month for the next 4 years. I will go with 1. So then I pay $1.99 per month, but I still have all those features of the middle plan I just showcased. It says $1.99 per month, but what I can do, if you click over here and you fill in Ferdy, you can get extra 10% discounts. There you go, $1.79, and we get a domain for free. So do we want to have extra mailbox storage? No, that's not necessary for me. This is more than enough. And over here, I can search for a domain. So I will go for ferdykorpe.com. Let's see if it's still available. And it is free for the first year. So let me select it. By default, it selects 2 years. You can also bring it back to 1 year, and that first year is free. I scroll down, we can add hosting or reach. That's for another tutorial. And this is all fine with me. So I go for 4 years, 1 year of a free domain. I click on continue. Then I need to register. So let me fill in an email address, create a password, and then I click on register. Now I need to fill in my details over here. So my first name, last name, my phone number is not necessary. My address is. Then I click on continue. Then I can pay with credit card, PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay. I will choose credit card. So I fill in my details over here. And then I click over here on Submit Payment. Congrats, your journey begins now. I click on Get Started, or I go automatically to the next screen. And then I see immediately the domain. It can be that you see this in a different language. If you want to prefer another language, you can choose one over here. Every time I take a look, there are more languages. I love that about Hostinger. I go for English and I select my domain, which I already have chosen in the whole sign up process. And then I click on Next, Edit Owner Details. So I have to fill in a bit more information. So let me do that. My phone number, city where I live, and then I click on Register. Finishing your domain registration and verifying your personal details. And now I need to set up my inbox. Well, I'm going to be very creative. I'm going to say info@ferdykorpe.com. I'm going to create a password and everything is checked. That's good. I click on Create Mailbox. Mailbox created successfully. Info@ferdykorpe.com is ready. Finish setting up your profile and preferences in Webmail. So I open my inbox in Webmail, but first I go to the H panel, the Hostinger panel. I can decide how I want this layout to be displayed, like this or like this. I like this one. Next, do I want to have a dark interface or light, or based on the system? I go with dark. Next, add a sender name. Of course, when I send an email, it should not say from info@ferdykorpe. I can say Ferdy from ferdykorpe.com if I want to, or just Ferdy Korpe. It's up to you. You can have your name and then the company name, ferdykorpe.com. I go for Ferdy Korpe. If you send emails, do you want to send a copy to someone over here, another email address? The receiver will not see that other people are included. I leave this empty, but if you want to have a backup of every email you send, you can fill in an email address over here. I save the changes. Then I go back to the setup guide, add a signature. That can be kind regards Ferdy Korpe, ferdykorpe.com, my phone number. And then over here, I can make this a link, Command or Control K. If you want to see how the link looks, it goes to this link. I can even add an image. What I prefer to do, I prefer to go to Photoshop. And in Photoshop, make the image smaller. So I say 300. Save it as a PNG to my desktop Ferdy. Then I go over here to my desktop. It's still really big, so that's why I prefer to make it smaller. So let's go for 150. Replace. And then again, add an image. There you go. Save it. Then I go to the setup guide number 4. I can connect it to an app or a device. I'll do that later. So I close this. I go back over here. So I got my first email from Hostinger itself. And now if I send an email, I click on new message. I send it to my own email address. I say test from Hostinger email webmail. I see automatically this over here. I want to get rid of this. And I click on send. Now I go to my inbox from Ferdy Korpe, test from Hostinger email webmail with this text over here. So far so good. If I reply and I send it. So if everything goes right, I should receive it right now in my inbox. I can also refresh it manually. And there you go, from Ferdy Korpershoek. Kind regards, Ferdy. So I can send emails and I can receive emails through Webmail. So now we have an email account with our own domain name, info@ferdykorpe, in this case, Ferdy Korpe. And I can send emails from Webmail and I can receive emails from Webmail. Now let me show you how to configure your email account on your phone, on your computer. Let's start with the computer. So I can go over here to the setup guide, connect with apps and devices, or I can go over here to connect apps and devices. So you can link it with Gmail, with Outlook, Apple Mail. You can do it automatically by just downloading this profile and then clicking on it, and then it will be set up. I want to show you first how to do it manually. So I go to advanced settings and it says incoming server. That's the link, the port. So I will go to my mail account. Then I want to go to mail, accounts. I want to add an account. I call this one info@ferdykorpe.com. I click on continue. Then I click on add another account, mail account. Then my name, I will say Ferdy Korpe. Password of the email account. Then I click on sign in. It says unable to verify account. Of course, we need to fill in a bit more information. Always do IMAP. IMAP means that if you send an email from your phone, it will also be in the sent folder of all other devices you have. So everything you have, like on your phone, the email account on your computer, and Webmail, they are all linked with each other. With POP, that's not the case. So I always use IMAP, and then over here, incoming mail server. We go back to the website. IMAP that hostinger, that's the incoming one. And then the outgoing one is SMTP. I copy it. Now I click on, before I click on sign in, I copy the email address and I also use it as username. Now I click on sign in. I only want to synchronize emails, so I leave the notes out of it. Done. So now I should see over here a new account. Ferdy Korpe with 2 emails. So there they are, super cool. Also over here, if I go to Ferdy Korpe and I go to send, I see all the emails I've sent. So everything is linked. Look at this. I go back to my inbox and I go to my webmail. So let me go back over here. Look at this. If I click on this email, I always use with flagged emails. So if I have to respond to an email, I flag it. So what I will do over here, I flag it or I give it a star. There you go. Now, if I go to my computer, it has a flag. So a flag or a star. So everything is in sync. So now if I set it up for my mobile, I go to settings on my phone. I scroll down all the way to apps. Then I search for mail. There you go. Mail accounts. Add an account. And then I start with Ferdy Korpe. There it is. Accounts on other devices. So I can also sync it that way. My name is Ferdy Korpe. Password. Description also Ferdy Korpe. So I like to maintain the same of everything. So also the signature at the end of the email. So when I send an email from my phone or my computer or webmail, they all look the same. Next, IMAP hostname. Well, let me copy the email. The incoming server, that is mail. So let me see over here. I mean imap.hostinger.com. I use the same username as my email account. Password is already there. Over here it is smtp.hostinger.com. Again, the email, copy, paste it, and over here the password again. Then I click on next. Then I get a check mark if everything is working. So now everything is being verified. Okay, save. Account added. So I go to my mail. There it is, Ferdy Korpe. If I go to my email account over here, if I say I get rid of the flag, it's also gone over there. Now if I go to my webmail, also gone over there. If I would remove this on the webmail, It's also gone on my phone. Over here. If I go back to the trash, I drag it over here to the inbox again. Now I have 2 emails. Here it's back. And here it is back. One more time, I flag it on my computer. Now it's flagged on my phone. And it has a star on my webmail. Let me refresh it. Otherwise, we'll refresh it every few seconds. So now, one more thing we have to test. Let me send an email from my phone with subject test. And right now it says by default, cheers, Ferdy. Of course, I should change that. I need to do that in Mail, not in Mac Mail, but in iPhone Mail, Apple Mail. So I've sent an email to my own email address, so it should appear over here. I need to click over here, or it will appear automatically. I think with the mail, it's already there. It's downloading. There it is. Also on my phone. And now with Webmail. Or I have to wait for a few seconds, or I click over here. And then it's also there. So now you can send emails and receive emails from your phone, from your computer, and from your webmail. The next thing I want to take a look at is how to import emails from another account. I go back to the Hostinger panel, and over here at emails, I click on mailboxes. I go over here to import email import. Import emails from another email account. It can be your previous web hosting provider. It can be from Hostinger itself, another email address. Let me show you how to do it. What I will do, I will import emails from another email address, info@ferdykorper.com, towards my new ferdykorper.com info address. In order to do that, I click over here on New Email Import Request. If you're importing from Gmail or Yahoo, you can click over here. I want to go for the next step. And as I said, I want to import them from info@ferdykorper.com. So I go to info@ferdykorper.com, fill in the password of that email account. And then over here, we can select if it's from Hostinger, Gmail, Titan email. You can go through all these, dreamhost1.com. I'm searching for SiteGround. Other. So it's not there. So what I will say is mail.ferdykorper.com. Next. Choose the destination inbox. That is my current account from this tutorial. I click on next step. So it goes from info@ferdykorper.com with this IMAP server towards info@ferdykorper.com with this IMAP server. I click on start. Now it's importing. So if I would go to my email account to, where are you, Ferdy Korper? Look at this. They are being added as we speak. How cool is this? I can give you a trick if you want to. Do you want that? If this somehow doesn't work, I don't know why, but if it doesn't work, what you can do if you have Apple Mail, you can go to an account with all the emails you have, select them, hold Shift, hold Option or Alt on a PC, and then drag them to the inbox you would like to have them. So if I drag them over here, look at this number, now it grows. So that's also what you can do. Or you can do it through this way. As you see, it's already 82%. We saw it real time or real. No, I'm not sure. Let me see. This is the one. It's still copying messages because it's at 82%. So ladies and gentlemen, that is how you can import emails really easily from another email account that you have access to your new business email account at Hostinger. What you see right now is that the email import is completed. So now if I go to my webmail, go to my inbox, I see a lot of emails. Super cool. You know what else is super cool? All the AI features of the Hostinger business email address. So what we can do over here, let me close it. If you're here at your Hostinger dashboard, you can go to emails, click over here, mailboxes, check your inbox by clicking here. And look at this. We can ask AI. So if I click over here, look at this. How can I help you? Kodee can help us with writing and summarizing my emails, organizing my inbox automatically, crafting outreach emails to attract new clients, and building stronger business relationships. I will give it a try. So what I can say now, give me an overview of the most important information from emails in the last 7 days. So there you go. In the last 7 days, your inbox have been active with several collaboration opportunities, security updates, and administrative notifications. So collaboration sponsorships from a few tools. I have a business meeting with someone. There were some order confirmations, and a new password request because I'm going to be the head web designer of my church called Wavemakers. So it's super cool. I get a summary of what was important in the last 7 days. Now let's go to an email that's quite long. Over here. Let me summarize it by clicking here. Now I need to scroll up. Royce seeks collaboration on a video project. Next scope, an AI-powered e-commerce platform. Create 5 to 10 minute YouTube video and a 1 minute short video. So it's now shorter. Okay. Now I want to say, write me a draft response to the email from Royce telling him I would charge $6,000. Keep it friendly and don't make me come across pushy or desperate. Let's see what will happen. So I click on insert. So here's my response. Hey Royce, I hope this message finds you well. Thank you for reaching out. Collaboration, blah, blah, blah. I'm interested in exploring this project further. For this type of partnership, my standard rate is $6,000. I believe we can create something great together. I'm excited to hear more about your vision for the collaboration. Looking forward to your thoughts. So and then this thing over here. So using AI, it followed up my instructions, and the more emails I respond, even on my phone or on my Mac mail, the more Kodee understands how I write. Well, normally I would not do this. I would like the more information about the project before I could say $6,000, because maybe he says, okay, let's do it. And he wants a video that is 55 minutes. Well, then I'm like, oh, then $6,000 is not enough. Well, I'm not here to talk about numbers and sponsorships. I don't do a lot of sponsorships. I prefer to be free and do whatever I want to do. But if you receive emails, business emails, this is how you can use Kodee to help with the responses. I discard this. So I go to this email from Maria, and then I say, answer the email from Maria. Very kindly respond to the fact that she told me some personal things, and tell her that I would suggest that she goes for the long Divi 5 tutorial, the most recent one. Acknowledge. Let's see if they understand it. So I say, answer the email from Maria. Let's see if Kodee understands that. So there's a draft. Let's click on insert. It goes back to Maria. It's Maria. Hey, Maria. Thank you so much for your lovely note. It's hard to believe how much kids have grown to, how much my kids. Time really flies. I truly appreciate your support as a longtime follower of my work. To get you started with the new Divi 5, I recommend diving into the most recent tutorial, the 5-hour one. It's a fantastic way to familiarize. I should, of course, include a link. I like it. I like it in the way that it answers it. What I don't like is that it's not me personally responding, but AI towards Maria. I think that's not very nice, but I just want to show you what is possible. So if I go for a Divi 5 tutorial 2 weeks ago, copy the link address, I would share it and then Send it. Message has been sent successfully. So that's what we can do with Kodee. We can summarize emails. We can summarize a bunch of emails and give a highlight of what is going on. We can let it make a response, give some context. And the more emails you answer yourself, the more it starts to understand your style of responding to emails. And that can save you a lot of time. The thing is, you can only use Kodee within the Hostinger panel. If I go to my Mac mail over here, and I would respond, I am on my own. But if you want to make use of the Kodee features, then you should go to your Hostinger panel. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you think of this. I think it's a step in the right direction to make things more organized. And I think this is a great way to get started with a business email without having to buy web hosting. So thank you for watching this tutorial. If you want to learn more about Hostinger, how to start with Hostinger, or how to start with a VPS, then watch one of those tutorials. And then I would like to say God bless you and see you in the next video, or not. Either way, bye-bye.